Good morning and welcome to JChats with Bender JCC CEO Josh Bender. Josh's guests today are Ryan Grant, General Manager of Fitness and Membership at the Bender JCC, and Samir Manapati, Certified Personal Trainer, National Academy of Sports Medicine.
Good morning, Bender JCC community. Thank you for joining us for another JChat. We have two guests today. We're excited for a conversation focusing on personal training. We're with Ryan Grant, the General Manager of Fitness and Membership at the Bender JCC, also a personal trainer himself, and Samir Manapati, who is one of our personal trainers who's with us here at the JCC and works with clients of all different ages and abilities. Good morning, guys. Thanks so much for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
You know, I wanted to start off this morning by sort of acknowledging where we are after coming through this year of a pandemic, and the JCC has remained open through the pandemic, providing a space for people to come and work out and to take care of themselves, and whether that means in our fitness center, but also in our swimming pools. One of the things I've noticed in the last few weeks is that there's just more and more people coming through the JCC. And this morning I walked through the fitness center and I saw many people working out. The pools are full of individuals who are swimming. And so it's really exciting that to see members coming back to the JCC at this point. So I wanted to hold this conversation today, partly because a place now where maybe individuals, members of the JCC and others are beginning to think about getting back to taking care of themselves, working out. Some maybe have been spending a lot of time at home, maybe a little sedentary through the winter. And this is a great moment in time, hopefully, to get back into taking care of ourselves and our bodies. So thank you again for joining us. I wanted to start off this morning, just give us a little bit of background, both Ryan and Samir, where, your background, how you came to the field, got involved in personal training, and just a little bit about you. Samir, why don't you start us off?
Oh, go ahead, sir. Absolutely. So the big catalyst for me that really started my my career in the field was a big motorcycle accident when I was 21 years old. And it was a near-death like experience, numerous broken bones, injuries, and it really put into perspective on, how important our bodies and how important I started diving into trying to rehabilitate myself, as well as, working with a physical therapist. Really started training. I was always into training, even as a young kid, maybe 16 years old. So I was fit at the time. I couldn't be in the training others or anything of this nature. What really set me in and brought me on board was actually training my first clients, seeing the results, seeing people progress, seeing that lifestyle shift, and seeing almost that ripple effect within their community and the friends and family as well. There's a lot to do with boosting with the fitness industry. It's really important to really prioritize our health and wellness in general.
Excellent. Thank you. And Ryan, tell us a little, you've been on JChats before, you're a familiar face around here, but remind the audience, give us a little sense of your background and how you came to the field.
A similar story. It wasn't a motorcycle accident, but I too was fit. I was about 19. I was in college already. I really had no idea what I wanted to do, except, play sports basically and do the minimum of schoolwork. And I got hurt in the summer working at a warehouse and went through physical therapy. And I was like, oh, this kind of makes sense. You know what I mean? So that kind of piqued my interest. So I, changed or found a course and then started my career after college working in cardiac rehab for about 7 years, and then kind of transitioned into the more commercial setting. But, the same thing is is seeing people start at whatever point they may be starting at, and then the progression they make whether it's an athlete or someone who's recovering from an injury themselves or an older adult. It's really rewarding being able to help people and help them get healthier.
Excellent. Well, thank you both for sharing a little bit of you. So we're going to focus a little bit on personal training, and I want to start from the standpoint of just making the assumption maybe there are some individuals out there watching who have never worked with a personal trainer. They may not even know exactly what it means to work with a personal trainer. Give us a little overview of what personal training looks like. Why can't you just work out on your own? Why do you need a personal trainer? What are the benefits of a personal trainer?
Absolutely. Well, in the title, actually, obviously personable. We are going to be very personable and giving that approach where when you come in and get assessed, it's going to be a completely different experience for each person. There's going to be a unique setting there as well. So when you come in, it's not just going to be a cookie cutter box cutter kind of program where we put you on, copy and paste. It's going to be extremely different and oriented towards your goals. So when we may have somebody with Parkinson's, and they might have completely different goals, common goals like getting up and down off the ground, balancing correctly, maybe losing some weight here too to really, go on their joints. So those goals and that workout style is going to be completely different, as well as different lifestyle things that we're going to incorporate. Excuse me. We also add different homework too. So like different things that you may incorporate throughout your week, different workouts, and really implementing how you can kind of change on a weekly basis and really try to progress towards where we want to go.
Excellent. I like how you bring out that concept of the personal in personal training, and sort of that sense of like there's a relationship that you have with your personal trainer, and they guide you and coach you and help you, design a program that's right for you. When I think about over the years when I've worked out, being able to do it with someone else is a real motivating factor in a lot of ways. And when you were explaining that, I was thinking a lot about my own experience in the past. Ryan, what else could you share with us?
What I can say is something we frequently hear is when someone's first starting out, they want to kind of do some things on their own and kind of get a little more fit before they work with a trainer. And you hear this a lot. It's like cleaning your house before your house cleaner comes, kind of thing. It's the best time to start with a trainer is at ground zero, ground one, so you can learn the proper form, proper technique, and progress through those, together. And clients, obtain trainers for a lot of different reasons. Some is just the accountability side, which we see a lot. They need that appointment and they need that accountability. Some of it is like they have no idea what to do. Another is, the motivation aspect. And, I don't know how many sets to do, how many reps to do. And, a lot of what happens is it becomes all of those things together as you work with someone over a period of time.
That makes sense. And just looking around at the center at the Bender JCC, I mean, you can easily get overwhelmed by all the equipment, not knowing where to begin, where to start, cardio versus weights, and so on and so forth. Samir, what does it look like if someone is interested in working with a personal trainer? What is that like first initial contact and interaction in terms of assessing where someone is, what their goals are? How does that look?
Absolutely. So we meet them right in front of the office. We would take them through different assessments as far as different movement patterns, making sure that they can bend over if they have any mobility issues, whether in their hips or their shoulders or any sort of impingements that they may have. Then we would give them like a nice interactive tour, taking them around, showing them different, specifically for them too. So if someone is complaining about knee pain or any sort of lower back pain, we're not going to have them hammering away on a treadmill. We're going to, we have different low impact machines that we can incorporate, as well as low impact movements as well. The assessment is pretty general. It goes from cardiovascular assessment, movement assessment. We're going to see where our strength is at, how we're feeling, how our posture is, Our alignment is so crucial here as well. And then obviously we're going to give that introduction into our breath as well, how we can orient that breath while we're moving through these movements. And it's an essential part. And this is how we really start, what I like to say, greasing the groove. So we're really trying to make sure that each rep is almost a rehabilitative rep. It's not just playing it around, going for just, a certain number or a certain amount of weight. Really want something that can sustain and move us forward at maybe it's not a completely linear progression, but there may be a little dips, but we want to slowly be moving and climbing in the right direction there.
That makes a lot of sense. And, one of the things I'm thinking about is that in listening to you is that every personal training situation is individualized. And I think, for people who are listening who've never worked with a personal trainer, like there might be a little bit of like intimidation about that. Like maybe I'm not in good enough shape. Maybe I'm not ready for this. And it sounds to me like, the evaluation really is tailored towards where people are physically and sort of honing in on the goals, that are appropriate for them at their level.
Absolutely. And something I just wanted to add there is, as Lao Tzu said, every 1,000-mile journey starts with a single step. And that single step is going to look a lot different for every single person, right? But there is that step possible, and we can open that step.
It's amazing. Ryan, just thinking about like the Bender JCC in terms of like, we've talked about you can work out in 20 different places. You have the why the Bender JCC and why personal training at the Bender JCC. What can a member expect to experience walking through these doors and developing a relationship with one of our personal trainers?
I think a couple of the most important factors are when we look at a new trainer coming aboard, we like to have someone that has some experience that can work with multiple populations. Typically when I meet with someone for the first time, a potential trainer, I'm like, okay, train me, take me through a couple exercises to see how they're going to respond, because the ability to connect and communicate with different populations, a 18-year-old or a 80-year-old is very important because that kind of spans our demographic. So, and building the relationships is a very important part of that. Most of our clients work with a trainer regularly, once or twice per week for not really a set period. It's kind of ongoing. And that's how you get results. If you have the means and you have the fortitude and the goals to work towards, working with someone regularly is really a key.
So that kind of goes into one of the other questions I was thinking about. So like, you work with your personal trainer once a week, right? But you're working out more than once a week. So how does your session with your personal trainer, how does that fit into a larger sort of picture of, I work 4 times a week or 5 times a week, does the personal trainer help design the whole program for someone?
Pretty much, Samir, you want to go ahead with that one?
Yeah, absolutely. So as we've been, everything's going to be individualized. So let's say if somebody comes in and they haven't worked out at all, it would be dangerous for us to, set them up with a 4 or 5 day workout split or something like this. But let's say if they came in and start progressively adding days where we're saying, okay, we're going to work out with you twice a week, Monday, Wednesday, maybe Tuesday, we're going to have off decompressions, light stretching. There's going to be different implementation there. Maybe on that Friday, we have like them just start going into a general walk outside, or if they're into bicycling. And this is where that kind of lifestyle and that personable approach goes, where we can really try to dial in on what those interests are as far as fitness, outdoors, if it's nature walking, birding, if it's bicycling, rock climbing, this kind of thing, where we can really implement our training around that. Very similar to sports specific training as well with our younger demographic and our athletes, how we can incorporate different splits and how they can take that home and do, let's say Monday, Wednesday, Friday, they're doing something on their own and we're seeing their Tuesday, Thursday. So there is the option for that as well.
Excellent.
Yeah, go like if you're an athlete, if you're someone who's already fit, and you're trying to get to a next level or train for something specific, whether it's athletics or a race or something like that, 2 or 3 days a week isn't going to cut it. The a positive for someone who's really inactive and just kind of getting started, if you work out 2 to 3 days per week, even for 15 to 30 minutes, you're gonna have some pretty quick gains. Then over time, over 3 to 4 months, you'll have to kind of work more than 2 to 3 days per week to get some similar results though.
And typically I don't like to make that contrast just because of that thing of that comparison of always thinking like, oh, well, this person is doing X, but then person, maybe that's not best for them, right, at this specific time. So that's just that approach of that kind of, that personable approach, like you said, like you've been mentioning. And
the soreness thing, I just want to add this, like some people equate the level of soreness with a good workout, you know what I mean? And so for someone who's just starting off and they're not trying to get bigger and stronger, if they're really sore the next day, then I did a terrible job. So that's definitely not the mark of a good workout.
Makes sense. Samir, I was thinking about, you mentioned, came up earlier, like Parkinson's, individuals who are living with Parkinson's and other conditions. So would you have like a success story, that you can share of someone who you've worked with who came in with some, physical challenges and, slowly progressed by working with you as a personal trainer?
Absolutely. So obviously like neurologic or these neurodegenerative diseases, really what we really want to focus on, and the literature points at, is really these cross-body, being able to use both sides of our body, operating both sides of the brain. We want to have in full range of motion. We don't want to be able to, like going half range of motion on this, and then slowly we start losing range, or even in our wrist, you'll see it happening where it'll slowly start curling up like this because we're not going into extension, really moving into these different ranges of motion. So really, it's really important to really incorporate controlled articular rotations, different movements where we're really orienting ourselves, moving through these different ranges of motion, going through these different patterns. And I really like to incorporate the steel mace for this exact fact, because it's an actual asymmetrical tool. On one side, all the weight is on the one side, and then there's a long shaft there. And what this does is it creates a sensation where we're having to grip and create inputs into that steel mace in order to flip around. And I will show that, but I don't think we really have time for that. But this is one kind of technique that we can really incorporate.
Do you have one nearby? I think we can maybe, if you want to demonstrate, that would be really neat to see that, I think.
So if we see, we have a steel mace here, this is the globe here. So this is where all the weight is. And what that forces us to do is, so say if I'm squatting down and I'm pressing into the mace, I'm having to engage my upper body, and it's slightly trying to pull me off to the side. I'm having to engage my core. So throughout any sort of movements, and we can use different patterns that allow us to move and orient around the globe and actually use our body weight as well. So there's a lot of different patterns. It's really a lot to be, a lot of mixing up the different workout partners, getting outside, walking, being around social engagement too, the close one that you can walk with. Other than that, yeah.
So do you guys recommend dietary changes? Is that like nutrition a piece of the conversation when it comes to personal training?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Diet and lifestyle is very important. And that's what you'll notice. A lot of people coming in, there's a lot of different habits that change. Drinking habits, consuming certain foods that may not be working towards our goals, right? So that's a whole discussion in itself on what's the most optimal. Everyone's going to be different as far as, geographical locations, belief systems, and this sort of thing. But there is a way to really start orienting ourselves into healthier eating, better lifestyle decisions, where it's not sitting down for 8 hours a day, taking 1 hour breaks. This is one little practicing that we incorporate. getting different stretches in, mobilizing. So we're not in this mopey archetype, really getting that posture and that alignment in order. And this is really an important piece, definitely, absolutely.
Excellent. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it's a real lifestyle commitment, right? To really go down the path of working with a personal trainer. And how long, I know obviously different for every person, but I know one of the questions you probably hear is like, when will I see results? How long does it take? And I know depending on the person, it might change, but like, what would your response be to that question? Someone who's looking maybe to go from their sort of sedentary sort of existence in recent times and sort of get themselves, maybe lose some weight, maybe build some muscle and just feel better.
I would say you can visit, you could definitely get that feeling. And that's one of the other things as well. I really go into the philosophy of how do you feel? Are you feeling healthier? Are you moving? Are you able to pick things up easier? And these kind of things, these little subtle cues. But yeah, I think it's really important.
Excellent. Well, guys, this has been a great conversation. As we're talking, I was thinking to myself that next time, I think we should do this again, and maybe we could figure out how to do it in the fitness center. Maybe demonstrate a little bit more of what is involved in working with a personal trainer. I think people would really appreciate that. I hope there are individuals watching today who maybe have been on the fence and thinking like, maybe I should consider working with a personal trainer, or maybe they haven't thought about it before and they're watching today and they think, wow, that might be a good way to motivate and focus me, in terms of getting to health. Ryan, what are the next steps for someone who wants to sort of learn more about personal training at the Bender JCC?
I mean, on this medium, they could just mention that they're interested. We always start a consult and a session, so we would meet with them and do kind of like what Samir described, and basically a follow-up session to see, kind of what they think of it, what it's all about, give them a little taste, kind of make them feel comfortable before they actually make a commitment.
Excellent. So there's a chance to sort of learn a little bit more before you dive right in.
Right.
Excellent. Well, that sounds great. Well, Samir, Ryan, this has been a great conversation. I really learned a lot today, and appreciate everything you do to serve the Bender JCC community and to provide a space for people to take care of themselves and live healthy lifestyles. So we'll definitely have to do this again in the fitness center next time.
Hey, maybe we can schedule it for like the beginning of June. We'll have that outdoor space, that turf space available. We can do it outside. Yeah,
I know there's lots of exciting plans for more outdoor exercise classes, and that would be a great space to use. Definitely. I like that idea. Well, we've been here with Samir Manapati, one of our great personal trainers here at the Bender JCC, and Ryan Grant, our General Manager of Fitness and Membership. Thank you both, and look forward to reconnecting with you soon.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Samir.
Take care.